Major Talented Ones, season 2, episode 3, and today once again we got an extremely special guest, extremely special guest, man like Steelo, you know.
Well, you know what,
live in the spot. I tell you, man, this is actually a real blessing to have my brother. Like I said, I've known Steelo for a very long time. Extremely talented, trend-setting type of person, as we can, you know what I mean. You can do the history on the guy. He's an amazing talent. So, as I said, we're going to start off, Steelo, with the first question I ask most of the artists there is, how long have you been doing this music thing? How long have you been this legend?
It's been about, well, to be honest with you, I never consider myself as a legend or an icon or anything in my own lane, because I think there's levels to this game. Obviously, there's hood famous, there's, you know, generally famous, and there's superstar status, and there's so many different levels, and I've seen so many different levels growing up. If that made any sense. So starting off as a youngster, you know, touring around when there weren't no YouTube with like pop acts. That was kind of my start. And coming, well, actually, my start was actually Yasa Santua. That was just down the road in Maryland, and working with, coming into the game, and I always salute him. Was MCD. He was the first guy to bring me in the game.
Kilburn original right there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, obviously there was MCD and there was this, what were they called again?
London Posse.
Silent Eclipse.
Silent Eclipse was his crew.
Eclipse, yeah.
But he used to work with like Rodney P and Skinny Man and all those icons like at that time, and he was running it at that time. Yeah. No, definitely. Man, like I said, with MCD, I would definitely say he's a person that, you know what I mean, like for UK rap music, he was a pioneer in that kind of fact. But I mean, I remember, obviously, I mean, you had a group, you was in a group called 182. Yeah. Definitely remember, and the thing about the legendary status of the group, they were actually the first R&B group that performed live on Channel 5. So before, like, before there was 4 channels. I mean, a lot of people now, they're not even gonna know there's only 4 channels, but then when the 5th channel came, definitely were the first group there. So in the space of like in the case of 182, how was that formed? I mean, how did that come about? Well, it started off, funny enough, it started off with MCD trying to train me and my friend to be rappers. He wrote this rap for both of us. Yeah, and obviously I wasn't a rapper. I wanted to be a rapper at the time, but I wasn't a rapper. I think rap was a bit more serious back then.
Definitely.
If I'm to be honest with you, I think
it was more political.
Yeah, you had to be. Like, obviously a lot more people were doing American tones, but you had to be something great to stand out.
You definitely had to. I mean, and obviously back then there was a heavy influence from the US in relation to rap, because a lot of rappers were rapping with American accents over here, because they didn't think that the English accent was fit.
But there was certain men that had that English.
I mean, obviously
Rodney P and Skinny, they were holding it. And they were holding their scene together. And also one of the biggest blessings I had was one of my friends, one of my close, he's a friend now. Was a guy called, they're 2 guys actually, Dean and Hudson, both of my friends. Dean and Hudson, they were in a dance group called Snap. In there, I got the power. And I wasn't allowed out at these times. So I just moved down to this area. I'd moved from Maryland Road to Harrow Road.
One of them was Pesci, right?
Yeah, Pesci. Pesci and Dean. They were the dancers in the back, the 2 little boys. And at that time, when you were on top of the pops, you was famous.
You definitely were famous.
You were famous, like.
Definitely were famous.
So I knew that was the guy from across the road. So I was like, right, dreams can, you know, like, it made me know that dreams can come true.
Boy, this is definitely a thing where, I mean, obviously, if you're in close proximity to it, because as I said, I remember Top of the Pots, and when anybody was on Top of the Pots was a superstar. You see them, like, you're watching it like, right, who's going to be on it? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of corners. But when it was the music that we liked, it was a big.
And back then we had to center our attention more to those shows because we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have all these things. So
we didn't have no MTV.
We weren't like siding like my Virgin's on. He's massive. He's got 1 million views on YouTube. We didn't have that. It was just if you was on Top of the Pops, you was the guy. You was.
I mean, and
you was on TV. Period.
If you was on TV, then definitely. I'd say another thing. I mean, obviously you're seeing the changes in the R&B scene or the soul scene over here as well. I mean, what is your take on the landscape? What's going on now with the, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the music before, there was love music, now it's more.
What I would say is, being mixed race is a very key factor in this. Being mixed race, but knowing yourself. I am mixed race. What is my culture? My culture is predominantly more African than English, because I'm raised by my Nigerian father. So I know myself as that. I could not sit here and say I'm a black man and a black man knowing black music. And what I do know about black music was I was raised in a black home. And I listened to black music. I listened to shades of African music and predominantly reggae.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up listening to my father who's in England, going to shebeens, going to these parties at the time, and he was basically introducing me to reggae and lovers rock. Yeah, and so I grew up kind of not even really knowing that's what I loved. Yeah. And there was one R&B artist that I used to listen to, which he loved, was Barry White.
Them baritones.
Yeah, but
Barry the baritone.
But what you have to say about Barry White was where he was on point, because he had like a hip hop drum section in most of his stuff. Like it was a hip hop style of drums, but he was smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
The walrus.
Yeah,
they're the walrus. I mean, I'd say in relation to, I mean, all right, coming up, because obviously, like, as artists, you do have certain influences or certain people that drive you. As you said, Barry White did. Yeah. But in the modern time, like say for example, around the 90s time, when you know R&B was rife, there was a lot of groups and there was a lot of real,
like Jodeci, the real influential Boyz II Men.
Yep.
112. We had a lot of groups. Jodeci was a massive influence on everybody. Yeah. On even like Jodeci is what Chris Brown represents now. Yep. He was what guys could be like, but girls could love. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's what I see Chris Brown as.
Definitely, and obviously he's like he embodies the, because it's because he's a solo artist, but he embodies that kind of group element. And as I said, you in the group, I mean, like tell us how as I said, I mean, obviously as you said, MCD got you to rap and that. The four of you, how did that kind of form and come together?
So how that really formed was at the time. At the time, there was a very minimal set of groups that were out there. And growing up, I think that people always said that I had something. It was very something small, but there was something that wasn't out there. And what it was for me that I had is I always, if you know me from when you know me in 1 or 2, I was always with the man them.
You was.
Yeah, you've always got one of the man them around me. I've always got a man them around me. But I used to love the girls.
Blood, I mean, I'd say, as I said, in this legendary stat, this man used to be up in Trocadero serenading the girls like the Pied Piper, and they'd be funny. I'm telling you.
But back then, that was a big thing.
You know what I mean? If you know a man like Steelo, this is like I said, this is one thing he was kind of known for. And as I said, in relation to your work rate, because you are a very, very hard-working artist. I mean, you've done countless amount of projects, countless amount of songs and writing, and I've had the pleasure of working with you.
We've had some amazing tracks.
And seeing how you work, and the way you work is very, do you know what I mean? You're just pushing forward. Next tune.
Let's be real. Dreams don't come true unless you make them happen.
Definitely.
Yes, you can have a dream and you can see it in front of you, but that's the sign to your direction. There's your path to your direction. Like if you, and I was manifesting things from a young age, because I don't know if you remember when I used to have the Genuine poster on my wall, because I knew all the girls used to love Genuine back in the day. They love Genuine. And I come out and they used to say, oh, you're like a Genuine. So I just thought, all right, I put a Genuine poster up. I didn't even like his music like that, to be honest with you. I wasn't his #1 fan, but I was a fan of like how he was moving in the R&B scene. So one day, I got called, you want to be on Genuine's tour? I'm like, do you know, like, that's manifestation.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? You can manifest your dreams, but the point is, it's also that you have to put into your manifestation is that you hang with people that want to see you get there. Definitely, because as I said, any jealous or negative energy, because that's why they even say when you're doing something, not to tell too many people, because certain people's thought of negativity of like, you can't do that, sometimes will affect it does.
It'll affect the manifestation.
And I think if you put that into the more basic forms, is that even the fact that when you walk into a room and you go, I don't know why I don't like that guy, but I just don't like him. That can block you if he's standing next to the person you're supposed to be liking. Just that I don't want to go into no spiritual thing, because we're not here with a gong and woo, you know what I mean? We're not going to go into all that, man, because we're going to keep it light and funny and humorous. Because I'm humorous.
So, I mean, as I said, I'm so in with the group, because as I said, I remember seeing when you lot performed for it was a Trevor Nelson show as well.
Yeah, we did Trevor Nelson.
I remember that, and you, like I said, you lot did a lot of stuff and influenced a lot of people as well.
That group, that era of a group, I was in the group for maybe about 15 years. To be honest with you, we started very young, started about 15. And the beautiful thing is we got to see so many great for about 15 years. Getting to see so many great things, touring around, And that really shaped me for what I knew was out there.
Yeah.
You know, the grass is green on the other side. I got to know what the pop industry was like. And then when we came to some, I'll tell you where we came to an end. The group would know, like, it was around this time. We met one of the biggest producers at that time, iconic producers in the world. There's a guy called Narada Michael Walden. He made Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. He made Visions of Love, that was Mariah Carey, so he made her first ever hit, and Shanice, I Love Your Smile. And he'd worked with numerous other people, but those are the 3 major songs that he did. And he met us, and we were like, I wouldn't say certain members were disinterested. They weren't interested. The fact they'd met that person,
somebody who could actually change
your direction. Like, we could get this. Like, now we like what we're working for. Like, we're working to get to a Timberland, or we're working to get to whoever's like big and proper now, H Money or something. And you're there now, and you're like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta like meet my girlfriend, or I gotta like do things. I'm not interested. Can we do it tomorrow? Like this.
Yeah, that's.
And I knew that it was time to. It was like we did so many special things, and we were brothers, and we all lived in one house. That's why we call 182.
I remember that.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is we got to that point, we shared so many dreams, but it was like, at this point, my clouds became clear. I could do this by myself.
You know, it's a very unwritten thing as well, because like there's a lot of groups, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but there's a lot of groups. When you watch a group, the majority, you see that there's one, and I don't like to say it because it kind of singles you out, but you can see there's that one who's going to, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm trying.
Do you know what I would say in that though?
Yeah.
You know what it is? All right, let's say, like, let's look at Drew Hill.
Yeah.
For instance, Cisco was that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be that one, you can borrow influence from artists, but you gotta have that sense of ego.
You do, and you basically
want to be you.
But you know, but that's the thing. You have to know. You have to be that person who knows yourself so much so that it does actually shine. So you're not really affected by anybody else's.
All right, let's look at the drill. I'll compare that to the drill scene.
Yeah.
Right now, because it's a fresh scene, you can be you and stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we were coming up, the Americans were riding this scene. So we had to be influenced, and sometimes it overshone what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So I could be trying to do like Cisco so bad with my blonde hair and singing, and you'd be like, this guy's good, but he's like a Cisco.
Do you know what I was going to say? Because I was having a conversation with someone before, and like even when you had the blonde hair, that was way before Cisco. That was way before Cisco. So I was saying that, like, it was way before Cisco in that respect. So it's a thing where there is sometimes a trend is set before it's set.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Those who can take it and commercialize it become that. But and I mean, moving forward as well, some of the songs. I mean, one a big song, like I said, the Soul Fever. Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
How did the Soul Fever song
Soul Fever came about just after I left the group, literally. As I left the group, I started working with a producer called Da Vinci. Da Vinci was like behind some of the greatest grime tunes in the early era of grime. Kano, loads of people was working with Da Vinci. Everybody wanted to work with Da Vinci. So I was just blessed to work with Da Vinci, leaving the group, developing my sound. And Specialist Moss was one of the first. Actually, no, let me even hit it the best way to do it, because Specialist Moss, who I got, it wasn't from my area, Mozart.
And you know, the funny thing about Specialist Moss is I actually went to primary school with Specialist Moss. He was in the year above me. So I've known Specialist Moss for way before we even were thinking about it. Continue.
Yeah, and you know, we never always saw eye to eye when we were growing up as kids, but one day we just had this deep conversation. It was like, yo, now let's just work, innit? And we did some work, and he took me on the MTV Base tour.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, it was just like perfect timing, and like I would say he's a massive part of helping me as on a solo Steelo, what Steelo's gonna do to get to where I'm going. And I met on that tour, I knew Superflex, but I met Sparky. I met Sparky through Moss. And then, and obviously, Moss was
Sparky, by the way. Big up Sparky,
big up Moss, big up the whole of everybody that is out here, because these are my guys. But you see what it is, everybody helps to mold you. So sometimes I'm gonna forget names, and I don't really want to forget anybody behind, leave anybody behind, because everybody helps to influence me.
I will say one thing, and like I said, even to interject, but one thing I'll say, because there's a lot of, I mean, I know a lot of artists, the same way you know a lot of artists, but one thing I will say, there's some artists that they get their shine and they go, and you can't even get in contact with them, and that's their journey. That's the case. But one thing I will say with you, you're one of the most consistent people I know. Like, no matter what levels you reach, I can always call Steelo.
Yeah.
You're one of the men who's always maintained the humbleness, and also you're one of the people that who always wants to push people when you see where they're supposed to be. You push that, and that's one thing I'll give you respect and give you your flowers for.
That's love.
Because you are definitely one of the most realest people. Because as I said, some people get they get the stardom shine and they're gone.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
The one thing I'll always say is, I go back to the beginning again. I was blessed to be a youngster and tour with some of those big artists. I've had my moment. I could have hung my hat up there or my jacket up there and been like, that I'm cool. I've seen, you know, large parts of UK, and I've toured up and down it a few times now. And I was toured with Five and Steps and Bewitch and Damage and all these groups. I knew we just knew them from the tour circuit. So I was blessed from there, if it made any sense. And I could have said, I've done what and I saw a few people from that era hang their jacket up.
And you know, and one thing I will say to you as well is the fact that, I mean, like I said, with the soul, in fact, yeah, we was talking about soul fever. I don't want to.
No, because sometimes we go back, we go forth. It kind of, but it all ties in.
It ties in.
It does.
So with that big tune, soul fever.
So me and Sparky linked up a year after that MTV based. And Sparky rang me and he said, I got some American shows. You want to come on tour with me? And I said, oh, cool. That was obviously, I didn't have a path for Steelo. And as we were working, we went to, I was actually working with, before, so as I left Moss, I was working with Naughty Boy.
Big producer.
Yeah, who I'd met through Kingpin.
Yeah. Hey, that Kingpin as well.
Big him up, yeah. And I started working with Naughty Boy, and obviously me and Naughty Boy had formed this relationship. Remember, I was working with Da Vinci in between that, so Da Vinci was the main guy. So that was like, yo, you're working with Da Vinci. Naughty Boy hadn't had any musical success at this point. But me and Naughty Boy became close for a period of time, and you know, so we started making music. And I remember me and Sparky going to shoot a video in Brick Lane, and we met this guy called Simbad. And I never thought nothing of him. You know, I used to meet a lot of people. I was working on one thing. I'll tell you of that time. I made 100 songs that year.
And I can very much believe
that. 100 songs I made that year. I was just in and out of studios. I was working every day. I made music my life. So I knew something had to come. When you make something your life, something's going to come.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So what happened is I made music my life that year. And I remember meeting Simbad, and then Simbad called me one day. I think he tried to call Sparky. He didn't get through. Sparky called me one day, said, look, come to my studio. And I brought Naughty Boy with me. And Naughty was like, yeah, this type of sound. Because there was no such thing in UK funky like that.
It's true.
So this type of sound, I don't know about. I was like, I don't really know about it. But because I like to challenge myself in the studio, I'm going to challenge this rhythm. And I thought nothing of it as I walked out. I did the tune and I thought nothing of it. I left it. So what happened was, at that point, we left the studio and I started working. Me and Naughty Boy linked up with Doctor. And Steelo1 and Taz, and we were going down south, and you know, we started working with all of those guys down south, and that's where the spot was at the time. And Doctor was like just a chart success. He had a chart success with the "Never Gonna Say Bye Bye." If you know the song, you know the song, yeah. So he was like charting at the time, so things was just blowing. And Doctor just really welcomed, or not even Doctor, T-Row, D-Row, which owns Saxon Sound.
Yep.
They all just welcomed me into that circle, like I was always there.
Yeah, that's one thing about you. You have that kind of spirit about you, bro.
Because I don't go there with there was a lot of bad man in there, like at the time. Yeah, you know who you are, you know what you're doing out there. It's cool. You know what I mean? There was a lot of bad man, different in that circle. But I don't need to keep up a facade to be with you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a smoker to hang with smokers.
A lot of the time, people respect you more for being who you are instead of putting on this uniform or something that you're not. So that's another thing that obviously you're not going to eat that. Obviously you're not going to have people take you for eating. But when you don't have to, a lot of people have to put on that uniform to be, oh man, a bad man, and you can.
But you know what? Where we were coming from, you have to remember where man was coming from. Like you have to remember, 182 had a lot of different characters. Like in that yard, you can come there on any given day, and there could be bad man in that yard, or you could come there, it could just be sweet boy in that yard. There was just a lot of characters that came through that house. A lot of characters got made in that house.
It's true still.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true.
That yard is like, want it to, hail it up. Those that know. And some people still come to me now. I still say, yo, want it too, you know. I'll be like, yeah. But I sweep that one under the rug, yeah. Because a lot of mad things. We were young, obviously we were much younger, and we had much more of a younger mentality. But my mentality, and I will explain it to a lot of people, I explain it to you also. 3 people matter in the hood when I was growing up. The bad man, the money man, and the gal man. I couldn't be the bad man. I didn't have the money, so I had to get the gal. Yeah, so I've made it my mission to be one of the best at doing this, or be the largest at doing this, and be a personality. So when you spoke of me, you didn't just speak of me as a singer. You know, Steelo, no, Steelo, you know my man, get big, girl, Steelo.
Yeah, true.
And that's true. I became a personality than opposed to a singer. There was a lot of man that was singing, and probably could out sing me till I'm blue in the face, but they heard of me through many other means.
So it's mad. It's more because at the end of the day, there's a lot of, in them times, there's a lot. If you see a man that can get bare gal, there's a certain admiration for that.
Yeah, you have to respect it.
There's jealousy, but that obviously comes from the admiration of wanting.
But the jealousy can only take position when you have no status in the hood.
True.
So even you have to remember, Northwest embraced me. Like it loved me. Like as soon as I came from West to Northwest, KG. And we was in the youth centre. We used to all go to that youth centre in KG. It was like Stonebridge, man. There was like all these man, and it's just like they just showed me love.
And that was pre the days where there was mad separation in all.
Yeah.
You had man from all over the place.
So instantly we were in. I could go anywhere from Church Road to Stonebridge and come back to KG and go Moser. So it was. I always knew that we can move around. So anyway, now that you know, let's fast forward back again because I'm just doing this mad thing. Like,
no, but it's cool. I want them people to get understand.
I was in South London working with D-Roll, and we were on tour. And then one day, I was in the studio with in D-Roll's studio, Saxon studio, and this DJ comes up to me. His name is Switch. And he says to me, "Are you the big funky house singer?" So I'm like, nah. That's this guy chatting nonsense about. He said, nah, there's a big Steelo singer. Like, he's a big funky house singer. I'm like, I was vexed. I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. I was vexed. I was thinking, the man's just took my name. Like, man's got my name out here. Like, he's like, yeah, like this tune's big, bro. It's busting up the set. I'm like, man's got my name out here.
And
he's busting up the set. So now I'm gonna have to change my name. Like, I'm thinking of changing my name. Like, in the studio. He's like, yeah. And as he was leaving out, I said, hey, we follow you to the car. Play me this tune anyway. Because I forgot I even did a house tune.
Bloody hell, see it there.
Yeah, so it's put the work out sometimes because you never know what comes of it. So I forgot I did house because to me, and let me state this clearly before they start counselling me, I used to think of house as more of a left thing, you know, not a straight thing. It was more you're either gay and you listen to house, and I don't know why I used to think that because I was maybe more into dancehall and the scenes like that. So no, hence let me not, you know, upset anybody because I'm not homophobic or nothing like that. But that's what I used to think of house. So I'm thinking I would never do a house tune. That's what I was thinking when this guy was like, it's just Steelo, like this Steelo's just trying to be big in this scene. So cut a long story short now, I go out to the car, he plays me the tune. And all I could think, he must have heard my thoughts. I was like, that's my fucking voice. I was vexed, bro. I was happy, but I was vexed. Like, I wasn't even thinking straight. Like, I wasn't even thinking, right, you just bust now. Now you actually got a tune. So I'm thinking, this fucking guy has taken my vocals and put it on some fucking rhythm. Where's my money? Like, you know, like that's where the hood of me came out. Now, where's my money?
Yeah.
So I just rung him in it, like, yo, bro, hear this tune selling out. Like, where's my money?
Yeah.
And he's like, because bear in mind at that time how they were making money. A lot of people. I'm not saying he was, but I don't want to throw him under the bus like that. He's a lovely fella, Simbad. But they were making tunes that were going out to Europe.
Right.
House was selling in Europe, and I would have never really seen the light of day with that song. No matter how big it would have been in Europe at that time. So, I'm not saying that was his intention. I'm just saying that's what the things that happened. But as far as he had seen it, he might have given me my £50 while I was in the studio, which I would have thought was for the cab there or for the cab back. And I was stupid. I wasn't making money from studio. I'd never made money from music. I've been and made money in music, but not from music.
From music, okay.
Yeah? So, I'm like, Where's my money? That's all I wanted to know now. I've got a couple of bad men around me. Yeah, they're all talking to me. Everybody's just talking to me. Like, I'm hearing their different voices. Let's just go to the studio, lift up the thing. I'm like, yeah. I'm just thinking about this money. And I just, like, the clouds parking. Like, bro, you exist now, you know. Yeah. Like, you exist. I'm like, yeah. You actually got a tune.
Definitely. And as I said, I've been in clubs and seen it play or seen it come on, and I see the crowd and I see the movement, and I'm like, yeah, that's
love.
That's my brother. And it's like, I'm proud of anytime I see anybody with my people doing something and it's reached where it's supposed to reach.
Do you know what
I'm
it is?
Always proud. So
you have to say it like this, and this is the best way to put it. Very few people in life. A lot of people can make songs. Yeah. But not many are lucky to get a tune. Yeah. I don't personally think it's my best tune. I think I could play 1,000 others, but I can't argue with the energy.
I mean, like I said, look, what's his name again? Wicked. I forgot his bloody name. Wicked. Jungle is Massive.
Yeah, General Levy.
General Levy. That song there.
And there's probably 1,000 drum and bass tunes or junglist tunes that are bigger than that, but they've never actually impacted like that. It's not taken away from him and his greatness, but it's just the way music works. It's just a timing and a position and
stars align.
And stars align. No, God blesses everyone in their own different ways. Yeah, definitely. So what happened once this tune got into position? What I was blessed at the time was all the grime artists were into funky house. Which I would have assumed they were into the harder thing. Yeah. So when I met Sket first time, I was his ringtone. That's how I met him.
That's mad. That is mad. That is mad.
Me and Wiley, cool. We got into the studio. Da Vinci I got back in the studio with Da Vinci. We started making some, and hence Da Vinci was working with Perempe. They had Something in the Air. I think the tune was Something in the Air. They had big funky tune. Everybody had met everybody. Crazy Cousins, knew them from very well. I met everybody literally, but the problem that I had with Soul Fever is I'd never had a tune, and I was never prepared for having a tune mentally, and I think that threw me. Right. Yeah. First and foremost, I'm going to raves that are called Soul Fever. Yeah. That's mad. I'm raving hard in Bricky. I'm raving hard. I'm even falling in line with certain people, like getting out, certain issues are picking up, but love, I always got love in the hood, no matter where I go. So I've had love. So anyway, cut a long story short, I'm raving and I'm just drinking and I'm partying and I'm celebrating almost. And I think that when you're celebrating, sometimes you're not realizing, but everybody wants to celebrate. I like to celebrate with everybody. You know that already about me. But so I don't like the whole thing, me and my bottle. Let's just get a bottle and let's just drink the bottle.
I could definitely vouch for that, and that's how you move.
Yeah, you don't eat by yourself. You eat with your people. I was partying to Soul Fever a lot, more than I was actually focused and saying I need to get and make another hit. I didn't know how to make another song. That was the truth.
That's it is a very puzzling one for me personally, because at the end of the day, one, as I said, being that I've actually worked with you and multiple times in the studio, and that's how you work. Like you create, and I've seen how you do it. You're very technical in how you put your thing together. So it'll be like you'll be doing like you do the main and then you do some mad strange tone.
Harmonies and
when you press play at the end of it, it's magic. So you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is? Every tune and everybody you work with is a different vibe. Yeah. Yeah. And even when we worked at that time, we were doing Eagle and Who Was That Dude, and I still think they're amazing songs. I think that they definitely had. They were aiming down the UK funky sound rather than opposed to.
And up to now, I think if they'd come out at the time they're supposed to come out,
there would have been big problems.
Because there was a lot.
But the problem was, this is something I didn't take, and maybe I might have this wrong. When Deneo first came, I came in garage. Bounce, 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 bounce with it. That's Deneo. We don't really remember much other than that tune. From garage.
Yeah, true.
From me. Just me as a listener. Yeah. I'm not saying he didn't have other tunes. I'm just saying I don't remember him having massive success in garage as much as he had in funky. And maybe because he didn't plan his route properly at that time. Yeah. That's maybe part of it. Or maybe it wasn't. But when I looked at it, that's what I looked at it as, and I thought, this guy made sure he got right what he didn't get right in funky. Garage. He got it right in funky.
I mean, as I said with Deneo, like I said, it was weird because obviously he had the bounce song, but he had one song called I Keep on Falling. Falling was another.
He had another one called I.
If I'm gonna be real with you, it's one of them songs. I remember in one time things weren't going right a little bit for me, a little bit, and that song was very uplifting to me. I'm not gonna lie. So that was one of the. One thing, well, it's not even a big song.
One thing we gotta say is, there's like. There was a point where obviously anybody that knows me knows that I didn't really get along with Deneo at the beginning. And there was small reasons. Some of them are actually stupid. The majority of those reasons is me. It's not even him. Yeah? I take it like that. Because even though I could say this and you could say that or we could say this, it's just me and where I was mentally and where I was emotionally. And the reason why I was there mentally and emotionally was because when you see something you don't like, you have two options. You rise above it or you attack it. Yeah? And what caused me to not like that timing with him is not actually him, it was me, because I wasn't doing my job. I weren't turning over tunes. I weren't focused. I wasn't centered. And if I was, then maybe I'd be more centered on that than centered on this.
And this, that's true. No, I fully get. But as I said, because going on, I mean, you had that song with all Sneak Bowl.
Yeah, I had it. No,
Frank and all that.
Big up Sponge. You know, that was going into the Sponge era, and big up Sponge. Like, he's a big mentor to me. He was like a massive mentor. He found me when I was like uninspired by music. Yeah,
which is alarming for me to know. You've always been inspired by
I was inspired by music. I was inspired more by hype than music at this point. Like, I just liked being somebody. I just liked knowing that when I go places, people uphold me in their value, and I wanted to hold on to that more at that time than opposed to be honest to music, be honest to greatness or what I want to be. So don't get me wrong, I always put my 100% into music, and whenever I go into studio, I don't really think, let me just do any tune for the sake of doing it. But you could be really centered, you could really home in on your craft, or you can just throw it out because you're good at it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could put any words together and you can make it sound good. Or you could say, you know what, let me listen to this tune, let me break it down, let me just home in on it and make it timeless because I invested my time.
Like I said, it's a big, because let's say we had a tune begging you in front of my friends. Now that within that whole line, begging you in front of my friends, is a big man stance to do. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, you want when the man them calling you a pussy?
But you see what it is. Let's go back to what you said in the beginning again, where R&B, because you mentioned something about R&B now and then. It's not R&B. Let's just call it black music. The only thing that's saving love in the black community is Afrobeats. Because it's the only music that seems to be positive. The outcome of it's positive, like black love. Like, they're talking about black love. But I'm not saying dancehall is not got any positive outcomes. It does have one or two, but the predominant is flossing dancehall and being somebody. Reggae was our love, black love. And ska, and that was our black love. But you see, what it comes to, and let me not make it about races, because I'm mixed race. I can say this. Just within our own community, it's funny that we don't have much black love in our community.
It's true, but it's because to have black love in the community, like it would cause a strength, and when you have a strength, then it's a problem to the powers that be. So therefore, it's better to have.
Well, do you know what it's a problem to? Do you know it's just an inspiration to ourselves to be able to elevate to where we want to be. Do you know what it is? It's not about them or us and them, because the reality is there's so many different people. There's Asians, there's blacks, there's Chinese. There's so many people in this universe to focus on, maybe even the left and the right. I don't even think you can even sit there and say white people is the reason of slavery. You got to say rhetoric minds that were thinking weird things were like that. And there was black people that were doing it to themselves. You know, when you really break it down and go into that world, it's a whole different thing. But let's stay lighthearted, because you know I like to stay lighthearted. You know what I mean? Let me stay in the light thing. You know what I mean? But what I would say is, There wasn't enough black love. And I felt at that time, because I felt like when we did beg in front of our friends, I'm hood famous anyway. So I can beg her in front of my friends.
Yeah, no, true.
Because I'm a G anyway. So when a man tells me anything, I'm going to tell him, shut up, because I'm a G, bro.
But that's what it is. It's the power of knowing you could do what you want as you without having to think, oh, what's that person going to do?
But let's be real. Chris Brown's made more wishy-washy tunes than that.
Yeah, no, true. But I'm not even saying this.
And that's because he's a G.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he can say whatever he wants. He could say, baby, I'm going to love you like flowers. And right now, that's Chris Brown. You can't say nothing.
You can't say nothing. It's true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true.
You're only going to... And this is where, again, people go wrong. Where people go wrong is when you make music, know who you're making that music for.
True.
If I'm making music for girls, don't think when I play that to my homies, you're going to get that type of love from them. Because they're going to not feel it's for them.
Yeah. But then, you know what?
They might appreciate it.
There's once again, because it's a thing where if the girls like it, the man will follow where the girls go. It's the same way, like I said, if in certain songs.
Would you say it like this then? See, like Jodeci.
Yeah.
They make music for girls.
Yep.
But I just like the way they move.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying to you? So I could feel it when they're saying that to a girl. Like, he's a G. You know the way he said that? He's like a G.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it was like, so, let me use the same analogy, yeah? I make two artists make the same song. I Want to Give You Flowers, yeah? One guy looks a bit like Sam Smith. And the other guy just looks like a girl killer, yeah? Now, when he goes and sings I Want to Give You Flowers, you're going to think he's a cheese baller now. He don't mean that. Yeah, he don't mean that. He want to get something else. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you just laugh because you think he's and she's smiling out of her teeth.
Yeah,
he's a G.
Yeah,
he's a G. How could he just get away with that? It's mad. You just think he's a G.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying to you? And you can listen to that tune now because he's a G. And the cheeseball guy, you're like, allow me with this cheeseball music, man. You're killing me, bro.
It's true. It's true. No, definitely.
It's the same tune.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
The artist, you have to either be in love with the artist or you can be in love with the music. And some artists are bigger than the music that they're making. So what I would say is Chris Brown is not, he does make great music, but he's bigger than the music that he makes because sometimes he don't make no great songs and, you know, people still love him.
It's a funny thing because, as I said, it's like the way Chris Brown moves as well. Like I said, even there's certain things like doing that tune with Usher. Yeah, that was a very, and you could see what was going on there. Like, yeah. It was kind of like a slight passing of the torch in a certain kind of aspect. But at the same, but not blatantly. Like it was a weird one because they had a little dance off in the thing as well.
But he can't talk to Chris Brown. I'm going to tell you why he can't talk to Chris Brown. Because you see, Chris Brown, and I don't condone it again, because I don't want nobody coming in sending me hate messages in my TikTok. I don't know hate messages in my inbox for this one because I know how ladies are. But when Chris Brown got into that little situation with Rihanna, that's when his tunes really started coming in.
Yeah,
Deuces,
because it was a fight or flight, right?
Deuces and all these tunes, and I'm like, this guy's going on wicked.
You all went on the chat with Chipmunk and kind of
but it was just going on wicked. The tunes was just coming out of nowhere. Yeah, and obviously he was fighting through his own storm. Yeah, and maybe he was more centered onto his music and the songs he needed to make. But anyway, cut a long story short, people gravitated to those tunes.
Definitely did.
And some of his honesty in the music, because there was like little slight messages that were coming through, and I said to myself, you know what, this guy, he knows how to make songs, but he don't always make great music.
Yeah, but it's the amount.
But we love Chris Brown.
Yeah,
like you could see from the gram how many people they just at Chris Brown's concert. It's like I've never seen the gram go so crazy.
Trust me, man. He grabbed the girl's phone and dashed it into the crowd.
Yeah.
Kind of picked up. But you know what? But anyway, yeah, Chris Brown cool, but he's doing his thing, but I'm talking about Steelo, innit? Like I said, he's been moving forward. Like he did a project with Kelly the Rock, hit up Kelly the Rock as well.
You know what? Let me even start by saying Kelly the Rock. She's a special artist.
Definitely.
She's a special person to me and a special artist. Why she's a special person to me is because, you know, Kelly's always remained the same. Anybody that knows her knows that she never changed her personality. She's she's not that for everybody, but she's that for a lot of people at the same time. Do you know what I mean? She's never changed her personality. She's always remained humble. She's always opened the door for me to come through anytime. Yeah, she's always so.
I can hear that with the synergy, the songs that you got made.
Well, when that synergy came around, it was just like such a perfect timing. Like I'd made up my mind. That was what, 2 years ago. So
wow, 2 years gone
so
fast.
let me show you something. Let me show you something. There's a reason why I did that project with Kelly LaRock, and why I was coming quite hard at that time. I'm gonna tell you why, because I believe that you can materialize and manifest your dreams at any point in your life. But I think you got to be honest with yourself when you become an older artist. When you become a bigger man, don't be trying to make 19-year-old music.
Definitely not.
Yeah, you're not gonna win your audience. So my audience now would be, I would say from, I could say 25, but I would say 29, 30, going on to 60. Yeah, if you want to come out in your 70s, feel free, come down to the concert. I'd love to meet you there, and I even sign your autograph. You know what I'm saying? I'm that type of guy. Yeah. So, yeah. So, you know, baby mothers sitting at home. What does a baby mother sitting at home want to hear? They want to hear some Steelo. Yeah, they need a man who's made mistakes. Who's gonna be confessing his mistakes on that mixtape or the album, and saying, you know what, I wish my man could confess his mistakes to me. Yeah, or why don't you just confess your mistakes, Albert? Because you know you've been cheating on me for the last 6 months, and you know what, I can do that for you through these songs. And that's where the mixtapes and the music was going. Now with Kelly LaRock, I wanted to represent black love. And the reason why I wanted to represent black love is because I didn't feel like nobody really was pushing it.
Doing it, yeah, true.
Yeah?
True.
So I wanted to let you know, first and foremost, I think black women are beautiful. And if you go back to City on Lock and rewind, I only really had black girls on the video. And nobody was doing it at that time. So I'm showing you, and it's not because I actually love all different types of colours of women. I don't have a particular colour that I like, but I had to stand for something here because I didn't feel like nobody was.
And like I said, that whole thing, that energy was appreciated. You know
now, even if you go back to the beginning of City on Lock, he says, "Big up my Moroccan Spanish looking things." That shows you at that time. I'm not saying he doesn't have love for black girls, because he does. Sneakbo does. But we were just so fixated on this light thing. I'm like, but black girls look good too. We have to tell them they look good.
We have to tell them.
We have to tell them. So somebody has to tell them.
Yeah.
Lamar didn't. Craig David didn't. So Steelo have to do it. Yeah. And I'm not taking away that they're not great artists, because they've inspired me. Yeah. They just, maybe, you can't, not all artists can do everything. So there's certain things that I couldn't do for the scene that they did. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm going to hail him up on that one, even though I might have taken away something on another.
Well, what I'd ask then, I mean, in today's climate now, like, and especially with the UK, because obviously the UK is doing big things right now. It's like the magnifying glass is finally, you know what I mean, where people are actually getting accepted, you know what I mean? The other day I turned on, I mean, their song, it's like more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's more collaborations with the US artists going on as well, because they're looking at us.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be rude about this. USA is nearly done. And why I want to say it's nearly done. We've gone from listening to great iconic artists like Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie. And who do we have now? Like, not saying that their artists are not good, I mean, but half of them are high.
It's weird, because even like right now, like who I'm listening to right now for that real rap is like a Griselda.
Yeah.
And the thing about Griselda, Conway, West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher. And
these guys.
But what it is, them man are doing the 90s rap. So it's
all right.
It's just doing what, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying you have to be,
and I'm not saying that either.
I'm not saying you got to do 90s rap to be good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying your content has to be good.
No, but it's not even, do you know what it is? I think it's the actual, the art.
Yeah,
I always say, for example, you go into an art gallery and you see like a mad painting where there's mad detail, it's all intricate. Like, wow, how do they do that? Like, I couldn't just take out a piece of paper and draw it like that and have that. But then you go into some other art, galleries, and you'll see like you know, there's a painting on the wall and it's a red square. Like just a red square, and they're like, oh, look at the textures, look at the stroke. So, and anybody could do that.
Yeah, but would you say the people who are pushing the narrative, I have to question them. I don't question the artists, because why I say I have to question them is because when you were growing up, you always saw talented people. Yeah. And you didn't understand why they not signed, but why did this guy get a deal? It don't make no sense. Because sometimes they like these disposable artists.
But I was going to come on to that. If it's a thing where you make it easier, that means more people are going to come, and it's more disposable.
Yeah. They're like, we took you in, we made money out of you, we got rid of you, and now on to the next. No icons are being made here. Yeah. And I'm not saying there won't be from this generation. I'm just saying it's just harder to find an icon. So which brings me on to, like, now within the UK, as I was saying, out of the artists out there at the moment,
I'd say in the R&B scene, because obviously
there is no R&B scene.
In the R&B element of an R&B artist, is
the only R&B singer out there right now is Angel.
Yeah,
there is no R&B scene.
It's true. It's true. Well,
I'm not saying there's no R&B singers. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you're not pushing hard enough videos. Yeah. They're not pushing. They're not supporting it. There's no DJs who you really allocate for R&B. There's no scene. The only R&B that we have, or we call R&B, is this pop thing where Sam Smith wants to do a tune on some R&B rhythm, or Ed Sheeran wants to do an R&B rhythm, or somebody wants to. But there is no R&B scene because let's be real. If you really want to be honest, if you're gonna be honest, where's our black soulful singers?
And as I said, Hail Up Angel as well. It's funny because, like I said, I've heard some of his newest stuff right now.
He's bad.
He is.
Angel is a special artist. Yeah, we sleep on him. Yeah, we sleep on him. Yeah, but it's not because we. And I say, I'll put myself in there as well. So it's not just because anybody can support you, but we sleep on certain artists because there's no hype. What Angel don't understand, or maybe what he doesn't, not what he don't understand, but what they don't understand is there's no hype in the R&B scene, so there's no hype on Angel. Yeah. Maybe if he was a drill singer, he might get further because there's a hype in that scene.
He definitely would get further if it was, if it was a drill aspect as well. Still, but as I said, in relation to like work rate or where the money is being pumped into something, because like I said, he's a good representation of.
He can go to America and give anybody a trouble in America. But the point, what I would say is as well, is I don't know his scenario. I know him very well. I think, I'm rest in peace to his father. A great man. You know what I mean? I don't want to speak too much on it, but a great man. To my brother Blue, Kel, sisters, love. All I know you're all going through hard times at the moment, so I don't want to speak too much on their situations. But Angel, phenomenal artist. Kel, phenomenal artist. Sisters, all phenomenal singers. There's just no scene.
But the deepest thing in that respect, when there's no scene, that leaves a vacuum to make a scene.
Yeah, but then you got to be the type of artist that people can approach to create a scene with. If you don't give them that, I'm not saying he isn't, but obviously there's no scene that, like, where's the pack of wolves that roll around with him, that R&B singers?
Yeah, it's true.
do you know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
Because anything you do, if he wants to start up a scene, all he's got to do is start up a nightclub, and everybody comes down there on a Friday night, like we used to go 10 rooms, and we all hear the singers, and we start hearing the singers, and we start, I like that one, but you got them prepared to step aside sometimes, because where people might love you, they might come in here and start falling in love with the next person.
Yeah, true.
And I've never been afraid, and even Angel could tell you that. You can look on my page. I push a next man's music. I'm not afraid to pass the torch.
But then that's because you're comfortable within yourself, and because the deepest thing is there's not another Steelo. There's only one Steelo. There's somebody who probably could try and emanate something, but there's only
I don't want to even look at a next man as a Steelo. I don't even want to mold him as a Steelo. I've helped a lot of UK R&B singers. If you even go back, you can verify it. Black Boys, Bashi. I was the one that helped Louis Essien in the studio when he was doing the harmonies. I can go and name 1,000 things in the music scene. I've helped a lot of people, even if for a few seconds or for long term, it doesn't make a difference. I've helped a lot of people, but the point what I'm making is, it's not about helping them. I'm not afraid to see something evolving and just hail it. I think Angel is new wave R&B. I'm old school R&B. Yeah, we are not. We can't. So the reason why I'm on this particular topic is because I want there to be an understanding of. Sometimes I make R&B tunes and people are like, why don't you bust? And I'm like, there's no scene. I gotta go to America. I gotta go somewhere where people are actually playing this music and supporting this music and busting this music, because those days of MTV bass is gone. So
I think there's another element as well, like the writing, because if there's a bunch of money to be made from writing for artists as well. So
which I agree.
Is that something that you're going to be?
Do you know what is as well? What I found within the writing, I do a lot of writing, but there's a lot of politics in that world as well. It's not that you're not talented enough. You can actually, I don't even want to call it a group. I wrote a list of songs for a group, a very popular group right now, and we presented them with songs, and they presented us with the list of the names of the people that were working on their songs, and they were all big names, but they were basic songs.
But so now that just goes from that. Do you know what it's like? It's like the fashion world, isn't it? Like, for example, you get a belt and you put Versace on it. Now that belt is where like, it cost about £8 to make, and now it's costing £700 for a belt. So they're looking at it like, oh well, it's got that name on it, so it's gonna blow. But it doesn't normally work out that way in that kind of respect. But
yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. You know, that's how it goes. But what I would like to say is, like, it's imperative. I want to make this clear on this in this interview that we should be pushing the Angels. Yeah, we should stand behind him. We should, and not just Angels. There's millions of artists out there that's not getting heard, that we are rating and we're hailing and we're saying, yeah, that artist is big, but we're not really supporting the artist. We should be doing that. Definitely. Put them on your pages. Yep.
And once again, that's the ethos of the Major Talented Ones Instagram page. With the Major Talented Ones ethos is the fact that what we're trying to do is make you get, every time you come on the page, you'll find an artist you might not have known, and then you can support that artist, and they have to be at a certain level where we feel that it's gonna make the difference. Where when people hear them, like, right, I never knew about the artist, but now I'm effing with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which brings me nicely. We're gonna play. It's gonna be the segment of the show where we're gonna play a particular artist. That's what I like to do. Play the person, play the artist, and then we just get your opinion on the artist.
Let's do it.
And we'll do that. All right. So we're gonna play an artist right now called Bernice. We'll give all the information about her Instagram page and so forth afterwards, but you're gonna get Mr. Steelo's opinion.
I'm not even mad, no, I'm lying. Trigger me all the time and I can't deny it, but you can't comprehend just what you've done. They say time heals, so please stop acting like I'm yours and you are mine still. You're not mine. You don't even know what you need. Misery loves company. You can't even do the basics. You don't even wanna talk no face-to-face shit. And you never ever change shit. Baby, you know that I'm not the one to play with. Let me tell you what I need. Back up for me, give me peace. They say time heals. Please stop acting like I'm yours and you are mine still. You're not mine. I will never.
That was Bernice, Sounds of Bernice. Once again, I've had her on a show in relation to reviewing her before. So as I said, I just wanted to get, Steelo's opinion on her, because I think she's kind of dope still. So
yeah.
What you?
So my thoughts is well done to Bernice first and foremost, because I love that tune that she was on with Angel. I didn't know that was her, but I did know there was a female on the tune. So you have to salute her. That's a tune. And I think the tune will come to fruition in time as well, because I think it's still going to grow into her greatness. Yeah, man, she's passionate about her dreams, and I think that she deserves an opportunity. Anybody's passionate about their dreams deserves an opportunity. Anytime you get up to go to the studio, for you to make that journey, for you to spend your money on your investment, on your dream, you got to big them up, man.
Thank you very much for that. And once again, if to follow Bernice, her thing should be round about here, if you can see it.
Yeah, but you just cover the whole street, like, yeah, it's all around here.
It's just here. You get
me? Big them up. Big up anybody that's trying to achieve their dreams. Yeah, Say yeah to anybody.
Don't know. And you know what I say? And once again, I'm going to put Steelo's his tag up here as well. Make sure you go follow this brother. Real, like I said, legend pioneer in the game as well. And like I said, he's one of my brothers. I've got bare love and respect for him. Once
tagging
again,
some of them artists as I mentioned as well.
Yeah,
no,
obviously we're gonna be putting that in. Once again, the show is sponsored by Bulletproof Dreams, large up Bulletproof Dreams, as I said. Oh, before we go, you got a song coming out with Shabba D, ain't you?
Big Man Party. So
Big Man Party.
What I didn't get to say is I'm doing some drum and bass at the current moment. It's mad. It's going mad in that world. So that's a video coming out with Shabba D. Gonna have the remix. I won't tell you who's on the remix, but it's gonna be mad.
It's gonna be a mad.
It's gonna be a mad.
When's the video coming out?
So the video comes out next month. I think the 14th of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look out for that. And after
big up Shabba D as well.
And also I'm gonna have a project coming out with MC Ultra after that. So literally it's gonna be a crazy little few weeks.
Same, man.
Come on, man. And then hopefully I can get Major in the studio. We can cook up some magic.
That's the next thing. You know what I mean? We're gonna be cooking.
And then you know what? Sponsored by Bulletproof Dreams.
Sponsored by Bulletproof Dreams once again.
Breeding up everything that's moving. Just anything, anywhere, wherever you are, you're getting the Bulletproof Dream up.
Well, once again, we appreciate you, and I appreciate you for coming in, my brother, because like I said, it's deeply appreciated when I can reach out and man that's there for me, you know what I mean? So that was episode 3 of season 2. And we're going to have more artists, more stuff for you people. You know, we're going to lock it in. But anyway, till the next time. Peace.